Hafa Day Guam. I'm Adriana Cotero for the Greater GU'd, and today I'm joined with two co-founders of the Guam Endo movement. We have Hanna Cho Iriarte.
Cho Iriarte.
Cho Iriarte. Yes, please make sure I mess up any names because I'm still learning. And then Catherine Manlapaz.
Manlapaz, yes.
Manlapaz. And also guest, a meditator who was here for a recent event. We have Joan Awa. Right?
Hi.
Get the name right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got that one right. Yeah, taps to me on that one. But we are talking about Guam Endo movement and also your guys' recent events. So let's start with what the movement is. I know it's a nonprofit organization and it's also in its first year.
Yes, we started in March of this year. How it came about is Kat was one of the first friends I made when I first moved to Guam 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. And she told me she had this disease, endo something or other, and I go, oh, okay.
I've been kind of practicing it too. I'm like,
yeah, I didn't know much about it, but when I was an editor, I had my reporter do a story on it, and that's when I learned more about the condition and just how much it impacts your life. And so basically what it is in a nutshell is it attacks your female reproductive system, and it causes tissue damage, organ damage, infertility, and chronic pain. And so when I was reading this article that I assigned my reporter to write, I'm learning all these things about my really good friend, and I couldn't believe that I had to read this article to find these things out about her. So that's when I started to talk to her more about it, and I've always been into PR, journalism, public relations, so she asked me if I would be interested in starting this organization with her. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So that's how we started the Guam Endo movement.
Wow. Okay, so you have to tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, what it's like having this.
Okay, well, I've had this for 10 years, so maybe it's good that I've been having a lot of symptoms recently, so I could emphasize what kind of pain I deal with. But when I first found out I had endometriosis, at first I thought, I went to the doctor saying I have appendicitis, and I'm sorry, I only came for after a whole month. It felt like basically a little kid just constantly hitting your stomach, and that's what I thought.
At first, that was the initial pain.
So but I just kind of ignored it because it was like light pain. Then all of a sudden, the doctor tells me it's not appendicitis; it's in my ovaries. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was only 24 at that time. So that's when they found out I had a cyst, and surgery was the route to go. And it's kind of like, why only now I have to find out that I have to have surgery within a 1 month, 2 month time frame. How come in the past 5 years of my life going to these doctor visits, they don't find anything? Turns out now the internet says, back then in 2009, internet wasn't widely used, but turns out this condition is heavily misdiagnosed and it takes an average of 8-9 years to find out you have it.
But so, could be a lot of people now.
Well, actually 1 in 10 women have it. That's 200 million women in the world. And then I eventually had my first surgery in 2009, but the kind of pain you'll get, it's basically it's basically like your period can't fully come out. So it goes to other parts of your body. And when it goes to other parts of your body, you get this buildup. It feels like you have gas, but you don't have gas. So you're always crunching and curling up in the bed.
Cramp.
And then you're putting either a hot cup of water, which I did on her birthday last week. we're at Mosa's, and I'm like, someone give me a hot water, just a hot water. And they're just all looking at me, what's wrong with me? I'm just dealing with some stuff I gotta take out. Lately, I've been having a heat pad on. So those are things that you just have to deal with, or sometimes the pain is like someone stabbing you constantly. You're being stabbed to death, but you don't die from it. And then sometimes it feels like someone's hand is inside your organs and it squeezes. So what I like about the internet, it has helped us explain how the pain feels. For example, there's another one, there's thunder or fire or lightning. You just feel something like whoosh, right in your pelvic area, and you're just like, what is that? It just lasts for a second or two. Sometimes you'll be driving, then all of a sudden something just pops inside you, and
But then at other times it's unbearable.
And other times unbearable. Lately, I've done now that I'm older, I've learned how to manage, how to deal with it. I haven't had to call in sick, but back in the day, my first year knowing I had this condition, I called in sick a lot. Hannah told me that she has a coworker that actually has it, and she's always calling in sick. So it depends on your pain level. It's not the same every year though. I would probably say in the past 10 years, I've only had 2009, 2015, 17, and I guess this past month my body's telling me it's getting intense again, because I try to stay away from pills or medication, but lately I've been taking 800 milligrams of Motrin, because it's only best way to cope with pain. Sometimes your doctors do give you something harder to deal with it, but it's really up to the individual what they want to how to take it. And it's basically what we're trying to do for females who have endometriosis is to try not to get surgery constantly. I've had surgery 3 times. Surgery only occurs because of the buildup of the period. They call it a chocolate cyst. So, and once it hits, I'm okay talking about it. My first surgery, it was 5 centimeters. This year, it was at 7 centimeters this past May. And I thought it was at 5. So I kind of held off surgery for a whole year. And then I thought once you had the surgery, no more pain, but I'm kind of wrong about that right now. But yeah, so the goal is to not get surgery so much. I've had it 3 times, and other women probably have it 5-6 times a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it really depends on what women deal with, and not every woman's level of pain is actually the same. A woman can have a cyst at 7 centimeters and feel perfectly normal and no pain at all. A woman can have it at 1-2 centimeters and they feel like they are stuck on bed. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no cure, right?
There's no cure, and there's also not much research of how it can go about. They are seeing that it could be genetics. So my mom did have it. They're seeing that it could be an auntie and a niece has it, or sisters have it but their mother doesn't have it. So there's no exact cause, but they are somehow seeing there might be some relation, but they can't find out that relation yet.
So in order to, like you mentioned, dealing with it, you almost have to take on the initiative to have your own personal healing.
Yes.
And I know recently you guys had this event which offered a very proactive approach, which brings us to Joan here. And it was guided meditation. Now, if you could just explain how that helps in healing with this.
Oh yeah, for sure. So everybody that deals with something like traumatic, whether it's like a physical ailment, mental ailment, emotional ailment, whatever it is, you kind of need some sort of like therapy, right? And so with endometriosis, it took me a while to practice actually to pronounce that word.
I was saying endometriosis.
Yeah.
Endometriosis.
Try not to mess it up. That deals a lot with a woman, especially because Kat got diagnosed at a very young age. That's 24 years old, and for someone to get diagnosed that early, you have that constant fear, like, am I going to be able to reproduce? And that's a big thing for a lot of women, is their reproduction capabilities. And as a woman, of course, you want to have your own children, right? Especially when you're at a certain age. Like for me, example, I'm in my 30s, I'm like, I want a child, but I'm healthy. I don't have any, but there are women who are going through it and have endometriosis. Like the recent event, I met this woman who approached me, and she was the last one to approach me before I had to leave. She told me, she was like, I just heard about this event a few days before I signed up, and she said, I really wanted to try to see what it could do, and she's like, I actually really enjoyed it. This is my first time experiencing guided meditation. She said, my ovaries have been removed 23 years ago, and because of that, I was not able to have a child with my husband, but her husband stuck through it. And sometimes these diseases that you have, or these unfortunate, ailments that you have, can cause even like a relationship like that to rift apart. But she was saying, my husband and I stuck through it. And so I was like, oh, that made me really emotional. And I was like,
I know, I'm like over
wow.
here like, wow.
Yeah, and she was already an older woman. She was in her 50s, I believe. So, but going back to the guided meditation part, it brings you to this like state of acceptance. it brings you to a state of gratitude, and that's what we kind of want to exercise as individuals, as human beings, is that we have to just be present and in the moment, and to just learn to appreciate what we have and what we're going through under any circumstances, because all of us, some of us are more privileged than others, and we have to look at it in a sense like we're put in this place right now where we're at. It's because this is where we're supposed to be. This is what we're supposed to have. This is what we're supposed to go through in order to just live this life that was destined for us from the moment we were born. So I don't know.
So
if it made
beautifully
sense.
said.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You're like,
She's also a writer.
but yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I know I've always, even like talking to my parents and just growing up with people, everyone's dealt different
Right.
cards in life, right?
Right.
So sometimes we're gonna be dealt this card, we're gonna be dealt that, and
Right.
sometimes it'll be a positive, sometimes it'll be a negative. So it is
Right.
accepting.
Right.
And I mentioned that one of my friends actually attended the event, and she doesn't have endometriosis. Said it right? But she said that she still felt replenished, her energy, and so being able to touch people that even if they
Right.
aren't even dealing with anything or just
Yeah,
everyday
but
life.
they're also the support group of the person that's suffering from the disease as well, or the illness. Because you do need a support group when you're going through something, whether it's like a physical, thing, an emotional or mental, whatever it is. You do need a support system because you can never do anything alone. And that's what we have to learn to accept also, is that when someone is crying out for help, you don't just ignore that. You kind of have to, as a human being, like, what can I do on my part to help you get things better? Because it's an exchange of energies, from a person to person.
This
Yeah.
is why we're so thankful.
I know.
Here. So when she reached out to me saying, "Hey, I'm coming to Guam just for 3 days. Is there anything I can do?" I was like, "Yes, there is." And she caught me at a time where I'm going through a lot of stuff medically. So I was just like, you know what, this is perfect. I mean, one, I need you to for myself, but I'm sure there are other women you can help out, and I appreciate her taking the time because she's only here for 3 days. She could be spending time at home, and she just got a.
I know. Thank you for coming
niece.
on here.
I'm wearing house clothes to this podcast.
So I thank her so much for at least giving a part of her time with us when she could actually be with family right now at the moment.
So how was it for you participating in the meditation?
Well, I've taken, I'm also a yoga instructor with Mantrasana Fitness Studios, but even though I'm a yoga instructor, I myself too want to be the student. It's a different setting versus being the teacher, the one giving the guidance. So of course, with us having an event, we had to make sure lights and everything was off, and I was like, okay, I need to get to my seat because I need to hear what she's going to give us. And it was beautiful because usually most of the time I have to go overseas off island to try to catch another meditation event or a yoga conference.
So there's nothing like that here then.
Not
Yeah.
the way Joan had it.
With yoga instructors here too, we're also very limited in terms of getting certified. So all of us that were certified, we were certified elsewhere. We had to go to another country to get certified and then bring that back with us and offering that to the island. So Kat's one of the handful of yoga instructors that do own her own studio. But in terms of what they're offering, it is quite limited because the island is quite small. But I mean, if people from someone like myself, I used to be a resident here, I can come, then I would offer that to whoever I know. I'd partner with them and be like, hey, did you want me to offer this? Because this is not, it doesn't come off.
She's more specialized.
How do you feel being able to bring the practice back here to your home?
When I first was certified, I did a few months, at some gyms and a studio, but I had to leave right away, so I was also oh no, I don't know who's going to offer this later on, but hopefully the other yoga instructors on the island would be able to offer that as well in the future. If not, they're probably offering it already, so yeah, hopefully it'll be offered.
So how is your meditation different? The practices. If you could just explain for those that didn't make the event, if there's a way.
How is it different? I feel like I have maybe the same style as everybody else. I have a very monotone voice, so you don't know if I'm excited all the time. If you're excited or you sad or angry, I just have the tone all the time. And I think that's very essential too when you're guiding, is that you want a voice that's kind of very just calming and relaxing. Nothing too, upbeat, nothing too down. It's just relaxing. And I think other yoga instructors can also, agree with this, but we do an energy exchange. I don't know if you're familiar with Reiki, because when someone performs Reiki on you, you could really feel the heat and the energy. But when we're teaching, even with postures, non-meditation wise, there is that energy exchange. We're trying to give you good energy. So at the end of your session, you're just going to feel very light and free, So that's what I always try to achieve.
I'm so jealous of everyone that got to feel that during this, because I'm sure they did. So, for those that, because you said that you're a yoga instructor, is there anything that if people are dealing with day-to-day stresses that they could just do every single day, maybe in the work environment, that you tell people?
Well, I always advise individuals, what is your favorite thing to do in your practice? You only need to spend 5 minutes a day for it. You don't need to wait a whole entire week to see me for another class or session, because if you keep forever waiting for me, then you're going to get a buildup of stress levels encountering, and then when you release it after a week, you only release it that one time of the week. But if you just do 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, nothing more, you're releasing the I don't want to say negative, but the energy not necessary to hold, you're already releasing it as you go, so that each day if you process driving, eating, walking, you're holding the energy you need to make you feel more alive or lively for the day. And when you have that positive energy, you share that in the way you do your work and what you do with others as well, when you work with them or talk to them.
So you participated in the event as well?
I didn't really get to do much of the meditation. I was more behind the scenes. But as someone who's not a yoga instructor, I don't exactly do yoga, never really done meditation. I wondered the same thing you did, how is she different? I really enjoyed her tone and the way she got everybody to relax, the way she worded it and the way she got everybody to breathe.
I think we were talking a little briefly about the word flow, right? Before that, you were talking about how she was flowing with different words.
Yeah.
I'm I wish I could have heard it.
It's almost it's like what you would imagine, but even better, I guess.
Poetic.
Yes. Yeah. Well, she is a writer, so.
So you saw how it was, everyone was coming to peace.
Yes, I saw pretty much everybody relax, and I just felt everybody's energy just improve. Everybody in the room, except for mine.
Hanna was working, that's why. So yeah.
You got to see it from the outside in, then,
Yeah.
which is great.
It was in work mode.
Now, with Guam Endo movement, how can others get involved, or what other initiatives do you guys have to bring awareness?
Well, what we're hoping to aim for is because the topic is a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for, intimate or not widely spoken of yet. I mean, there's this thing called period taboo. No one really wants to talk about PMS, menstrual. Hey, how's your pain level going on there, right? So our goal first is to make everyone feel more confident and not feel that they have to be ashamed of this first. So we are kind of struggling in getting that confidence in others that it's okay to talk about it. And after once we could get that stature going on with everyone, March every year globally is Endometriosis Awareness Month. So every last Saturday of the year, all these different countries around the world, they march for Endo. So we're hoping to have a march, if it's not a march, a get together, always on the last Saturday of March. So you'll see on the endometriosis community on Instagram especially, they're very big in the UK, London, Australia. The United States is in different states already. Spain, they all do their signs. It's like a huge march, basically. I mean, keep in mind, this is 1 in 10 women, 200 million women in the world. So 200 million women in the world are pretty much voicing out their
Yeah.
opinions on social media.
Coming
on
together
that.
for it.
Yeah, so that's this.
Did Guam participate last year?
We did. We
Okay.
had that was our first event this
Yes,
year.
yeah.
We had our high tea moment. We just started that month, and we had people that came in. But the same thing, everyone came in still kind of scared to talk about it. It took a while after 10 minutes to be like, oh, you have it too. Okay, yes, we have it too. So it's just trying to get out of your comfort
Yeah,
zone, because keep in mind, most of the women who have endometriosis, they either had a miscarriage or they can't get pregnant. I met a woman in the clinic, a doctor's clinic, that told me she's been trying to get pregnant for 12 years. So that's difficult, to accept as a woman. Others, just unbearable pain. No one wants to talk like as if they're weak,
Right.
dealing with this. But then the great thing about social media, that's why I like Instagram.
Don't we all?
10 years ago, internet was very depressing.
Yeah.
To read. I stayed away from the internet reading about my condition, because when you read on the internet, it's just like, oh, is this endometriosis, is this kind of condition, blah blah blah. It just grows out tissue, very basic. And then when you do read someone's blog, it's all depressing. So I never touched the internet until I guess maybe the past 4 years Instagram came. So everyone's a little bit more positive, like you can get through this, and that's what kind of helps me
Encouraging
work
one
with
another.
Hanna. Like, we should be like them. Guam needs one like this
Right.
too. So
So there could be so many other people, and then you guys are creating that support system.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned that you need the support.
Yeah.
So it's starting. Guam is now part of the global communications for endometriosis, but it's still going to take some time, because getting out of your comfort zone in this topic is not easy for women.
And speaking of support, one of the things we are doing is we're selling t-shirts.
I saw them.
There's all
and
the
that's how I
coffee
first
slut, yeah.
heard about it. But yeah, please tell
There's
us.
sold a coffee slut, and on
can
the
try and
front
show
it says support the uterus, because I don't have endometriosis, but I support her uterus.
There you go. Yeah, bring it closer. Thank you, Jason.
Yes.
So they're found at Coffee Slut,
Yes,
and
and
how much are they?
They're $25, and all the money goes toward us trying to improve the quality of healthcare for women and just the support system for women on Guam.
I love. Oh, so what's the hashtag Endo Warrior?
So if you go online,
Mhm.
Twitter, Instagram, or social media, just type Endo Warrior, you'll see all these women talking about endometriosis and them promoting it. So they call themselves Endo Warriors.
It's empowering,
Oh, I love that.
right? Yeah.
Warrior is such a strong word.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anything else you guys want to add before we close out here? Any other?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
We do want to thank our sponsors for giving us a great event for the guided meditation. And we want to say thank you mainly to The Hive, Take Care, and Manila Dental Clinic for being our head sponsors and heading this. And also the other contributors such as California Pizza Kitchen, Ambrose, Frito-Lay, Jamaican Grill, Money Pops, Opaque, and then also our production company, we have High PR, and also Mantrasana Fitness Studio for helping us out organize this event.
And Fiji water.
I love it. And Fiji water.
And of course, you guys for having us on here
Of
and
course,
letting
no,
us
thank
talk
you all
about
for
this.
making
Thank
it
you.
fun.
And once again, a big thank you actually to Joan
Oh, yeah.
Awa.
Yes.
She is
I already can't wait for you to come back.
she made it happen.
Hannah will make it happen if you guys want me to come back on the island.
Yes, I make
just
things
call
happen.
You
me.
make things happen. Okay,
Yes,
so can that happen?
Yeah.
Next year, 2020?
Let's do it early next year.
Okay, early next year.
It'll be a New Year's
It's said-
resolution thing.
It's now documented and
Yes.
recorded, so it has to happen. All right, well, thank you guys again, and thank you all for tuning in. I'm Adriana Cotero for the Greater GU'd.
Thank
Thank you.